Hello, welcome back to Math Time with Professor Prime, and I am your host, as always, Professor Prime. I don't know either. Um, so let's talk about that moment. That moment when you realize everything connects. That moment when you realize math is more than what you thought. Now, and I'd argue that on some level you can discover these things at different times, but on a larger level, they feed into the same thing. So let's talk about that. I feel like, we go to school and we learn this and we learn that, and I'm going to focus on math, but I do think there's a lot of things that happen in general, but with math, right? We're approached with the idea that it's fun. And we're taught in a way that makes things concrete at first. And I've talked about this in some other videos. But as we go on through school, we systematically get the whimsy beaten out of us. We're no longer taught, through example, that it's fun. We're just told that it's fun. And we're given these incredible tools, but we're not told why that we should use them. And this usually happens around algebra. It's a new level of abstraction, and I feel like you lose something, or rather, a lot of people do. And even if you don't, there's something that you're not gaining. Because for me, I always gravitated towards algebra. I was taught at an earlier age than most, and while it is true that I took to it pretty quickly, the truth is, no matter how much I knew on that paper, no matter how much I could solve this problem or that problem, I was missing something that was fundamental. I missed the bigger picture. If that makes sense. So, I was the kind of kid that I did X, Y, I did like the math, I did enjoy problem solving, it was a blast. But still, I missed the fact that it all connects. That the algebra, yes, it's part of a big whole, but what is that whole, Because we get into classes like physics and, we have chemistry and all that, and we see math in action there, but we don't think about just how far it goes. Math isn't just important because it has these applications. It's important because those applications, to me, reflect something that's already going on outside, if that makes sense. For me, that math it's not just a tool. Yes, it is a tool, but it's not just a tool. It's about the universe, what it's doing, communication. Everything and anything connects. Everything we do and everything we say, there's math in that. And that moment when you realize that is a beautiful thing, it changes you in a fundamental way. You don't look at the world the same. And you realize that all this separation with math and other fields, it doesn't need to be. There's a more unified way to go about things that we don't always do, and unfortunately I don't think we're really doing it at all at the moment, but I would like to see that changed. Because the truth is, math is everywhere, and while that makes some people afraid, I feel like it shouldn't. I feel like they should feel empowered. But just to be clear, they have every reason to be afraid because of how it's taught. And they haven't had that moment that I've had yet. And remember, I said that I was someone who gravitated towards algebra, for instance, naturally, and math as a whole, naturally. But even with that, I still feel like I missed pieces of the picture. And I'd argue that I'm still trying to figure out some pieces. But the moment that I realized that things connect, I was forever different. And I can't quite remember when it happens, but I feel like there were things leading up to it over the years, and I feel like it really came into it this year. And it shapes how I talk about math. It shapes what I do with it, how I interpret other people and what they do with it, because the truth is I do, and I've said this several times and in many videos, believe that we are natural mathematicians. So what we see in the class, what we see academically, is part of a larger whole. It is merely a way for us to discuss what's already happening out there, what could happen out there, what has happened out there. But it's more than what we just see in class. And I feel like, yeah, knowing that makes a huge difference. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say in this video, which is just that for me, math isn't just one thing. It's about a larger picture. It's about a deep connection that we all have to the universe and to each other that we don't necessarily know. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's an interesting thing. And I hope that you, yes you, the viewer, right now, realize what you've seen is merely a fragment of what's out there. I'll see you in the next video. Professor Prime out.